Hello there, my very good friends. On this wrestling news video is a WWE fan favourite set to leave next month.
There is no Saraya WWE return on the cards.
Another WWE fan favourite could be set for a monster push.
And who's next for Bill Goldberg? Not AEW.
Yeah, he's not going to spear Tony Khan, is
Not yet.
the report.
Not yet.
That we are aggregating here. I'm Andy Murray.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Alright, let's kick this one off by talking about something that isn't Hulk Hogan. Let's talk about Karrion Kross.
Yes.
We've another topic we've been talking about every single week because his name do be getting out there in the media. His WWE deal is still set to expire next month, and currently, according to sources close to him, there are no signs of a renewal as of yet. Has not been signed, has not been offered by WWE. This is a report from Fightful Select, who've been on top of this stuff from day one. They spoke to a bunch of different people in wrestling who have asked Kross about the nature of his and Scarlett's deals. And apparently, the people they spoke to say that Kross has told them that no new deal has been signed and that his deal is still up in August as of right now. Apparently, WWE has been keeping this very quiet internally, details of it. Kross has had some new merch. He's been on TV. He was on Night of Champions. Yeah. He wrestled Sami Zayn. He beat him the other day as well. This is usually an indication that a deal has been done or is about to be done. And the outlet notes as well that they didn't expect Kross to exactly spill the beans. Give the details until the time is right. Now, Kross has apparently told people who asked him about his status as well that he and Scarlett hadn't been approached for a new deal as of last week. It's now this week, so I don't know, maybe that's changed, who knows. At least 6 contacts within the industry said that they got the exact same response when asking about Kross and Scarlett, and apparently there are still creative plans for the two of them on TV. You'd imagine that the Sami feud isn't over because of the nature of Kross's win. You'd imagine that'll keep rumbling on and on and on. And also the nature of his character is a slippery, manipulative, devil's advocate guy. He can kind of get out of any defeat, really. But yeah, his case has been a very interesting one to follow. I think... I'm not gonna lie, I've really enjoyed the conspiracy theories. I've enjoyed just riding the wave of, well, this is a psyop, brother, or he can't take a back bump, brother. It's just wacky and wild and fun. I like when wrestling's weird. And what can I say? But yeah, what do you think Karrion Kross and Scarlett's future is? Do you think they'll stay with WWE? Because I do.
I do. But I think the mere fact that we're having this conversation, allegedly so soon to his contract coming to an end, speaks to how much success Karrion Kross and Scarlett have had at using the wrestling media in this way. Like it's a sort of the contemporary work, I guess you could say. Like how we've gone from Final Testament at the back end of 2024 to Karrion Kross sticking around a bit longer and then figuring into various plans, not necessarily always in the deepest of ways. You know, like to your point, the character can play this kind of perfect master that oversees the superstars, but what does that like actually amount to? It amounts to say like the cameo at WrestleMania, or this kind of like micro feud with Sami Zayn that feels like it's in service of a bigger picture for the both of them. So he's been a very interesting wrestler to analyse. Again, to your point about the various conversations about was this that kind of like an industry plant type thing from WWE to generate like a corporately created uprising of support for a wrestler. The way in which he speaks online, the way in which he handles his character, some of the it's great patter like Karrion Kross as well. Like he can be very funny and very sharp and witty. The fact that he was permitted to do Bloodsport in the weekend that WWE was in Vegas, his hometown, but that was kind of about the extent of it, other than that little AJ Styles running at WrestleMania. It's just been a really interesting figure to monitor, and ultimately he understands how valuable it is to be interesting, to be monitored. I think he will stay with WWE, him and Scarlett, but there is like another option beyond just the obvious of, or maybe he'll go to AEW. I'm kind of noticing with interest wrestlers that get released and then find their way to TNA as TNA finds itself in a direct business relationship with WWE. This is one example, there are others. But let's say hypothetically within the next 6 weeks, Indy Hartwell works on NXT because she decides to go to NXT to try and get the belt back off JC Jane. Right? Like, Indy Hartwell was released by WWE and they're suddenly back on WWE television competing for a belt. That's how this can now work, per that business relationship. And I do wonder if that is maybe an avenue where, should Cross get released, and again, I think I'm with you, I don't think he will. Oh, sorry, not get released. Should his contract be seen out and he leave WWE, I do wonder if TNA would be the landing spot that makes the most sense of all of this. Like a place where he could potentially be pushed as, say, the world champion or the top guy. You know, there's a history with the brand, TNA/Impact Wrestling. There's the possibility he could move back to his Kelu Crest name that would, I think, appeal to the people that liked him before he got to WWE.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious of that as well.
Yeah.
What a wild 3 years it's been for Karrion Kross. I remember that September 2022 return, right at the top of the card. Do you remember he came in like with the Drew and Roman thing,
Roman
and he was
Reigns,
front row clash at the Castle for their main event, and now here we are 3 years later, and it might be the
over.
line.
Yeah, it might be over. I think the TNA, that's an interesting proposition. The nature of the WWE TNA relationship is that someone can leave and then come back while under contract to a different promotion. The brutal kind of business side of that is that the nature of that relationship also means that they're probably being paid pennies on the dollar for those appearances that they would have been on a WWE contract with before. It's just the nature of the beast. Look, TNA is not as a wealthy a promotion as WWE is, and that's a way for WWE to still use them while technically not paying them because they'd be under TNA contract. That being said, if he went to TNA, I think that he would be pushed like the man. I think he would be the world champion. I think he would be spotlighted, headlining, and all of that stuff.
Imagine the numbers he bring them. They like that sort of exposure and stuff. You know, he's one of them guys at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he would be a centerpiece in that company in a way that he might not necessarily be in other American promotions, namely WWE and AEW. So I think that actually, if he does leave, that would be a very good move for him, and I think it'd be a good move for TNA as well. Obviously, he was there before. I think he was killed off. I think Eddie Edwards bit him or something like that. I think
so, yeah. That'd be fun to watch him reborn. I'm back.
They'll have to do like a reanimation, maybe go hollow like in Dark Souls or something. But
in my wrestling figure company when I was a kid, The Undertaker and Warlord had a match that ended with The Undertaker using the Big Boss Man's nightstick as a gun, and he killed Warlord. That was like the main event around like WrestleMania season. But let me tell you, when Warlord came back at SummerSlam from the dead, the invisible crowd in my bedroom went nuts. The pop was absolutely huge for it. It was huge.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, all that, the E-feds, all that stuff. You ever kill anyone? You were ever in an E-fed?
I was. I never killed a guy in an E-fed, but I did work.
I never killed. I was always serious. We can't kill people. This is an E-fed. This is serious.
Your E-fed was a work rate one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
was. Some of the biggest stars of the business occupied your
E-fed. The last one I did, my character was called Double Decker. The gimmick was literally tugboat, but he's a bus instead.
Bus boat.
Yeah, so he just went honk and all that. It was great. He did 2 moves because he was a big dude. He was a tugboat. But a bus, double decker, baby. Get on board. His nickname was the Big Greyhound. Obvious. The entrance music was Waiting for the Bus by ZZ Top.
Nice.
Which is great. It's a great song.
Do you know what my E-fed character was?
What's that?
I was a human VPN, and my gimmick was, I've got the second best offer on a VPN ever.
It's actually the best, but...
Well, no, my E-fed character was the second best.
Oh, okay, right.
Because the first best can be found right here.
Yeah, this finishing move was the 76%, which is what you can get off if you sign up right now, my very good friends. Link in the description and the pinned comment and the QR code on your screen. 4 months for free and up to a $50 Amazon gift card. This runs till the end of the month. If you want to protect yourself online, you need this deal in your life. Only a few more days to grab it before it goes away, so do the thing.
People have loved it, haven't they?
They have.
Take advantage while you still can. Switching gears, sort of, because...
That's how you shift gears in a car?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go like this.
Ex-AEW, or recently sort of finished up with AEW star Saraya, was hotly tipped to be returning to WWE around Evolution. Mm-hmm. Understandably so, I guess, as part of like she was an integral figure in the original coming up with the women's division in NXT, and then on WWE's main roster. And at various points, her name was dropped. I think it was Brian Alvarez has reported, like per his understanding at the time, that she was just out and out expected to be there. So it was all very matter of fact that she was going to be coming in, presumably to reassume her duties as Paige. And then nothing materialised in the show and in the aftermath and any of that kind of stuff. And there's been some follow-up on that in the week since. Bodyslam.net. Who noted that obviously Saraya was open vocally to returning to WWE in her various outlets. WWE has, quote, no interest. There have been no internal discussions on rehiring her. Despite the speculation, she wasn't considered for an appearance at Evolution 2025. She wrapped up with AEW in March. She is currently a free agent. There's a lot of her stuff online that you can do where she's like talking to the likes of Marina Shafir, which was a very enlightening and interesting interview, and presumably there'll be a lot more of that. She was active for all those years. She wrapped up in 2017, having had an extended period of time off. She then returned, but then was unfortunately injured in the house show match. 2018, she retired in WWE, but her return to AEW brought about a return to the ring. That was in 2022, and she did become AEW World Champion at the first All-In at Wembley
in England
in 2023. Yeah, a very nice kind of like big sentimental moment for her and her family. So the WWE return might have come with wrestling as well as the personality-based stuff that she did in the latter half of the career. She was the SmackDown GM, she was the manager of the Kabuki Warriors, she did backstage and panels and things like that. But yeah, seems like that's actually not the case. I was a bit bowled over by this. It seemed more logical than not that a return was on the cards, but for them to be shutting the door, a bit of a surprise one.
Yeah, for sure, because they've been very active in acquiring ex-AEW wrestlers, and especially Saraya is better known for her time in WWE as Paige, where she...
So over.
Yeah, hugely over. Major breakthrough. The AJ Lee stuff in her debut. She was a 2-time Divas champion, a former NXT Women's Champion.
The Emma match is kind of the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would say, for North American women's wrestling.
It is, and it's like if you were to chart, like, the increase in prominence is a key step along with Sasha and Bayley and stuff like that, for sure. So yeah, she was hugely over. Obviously, her career the injuries hurt, obviously, a lot. Really, really, really devastating nature of those. I thought she was pretty good as a GM. I thought she was pretty decent in that role, and they just kind of stopped using her, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
But she was on backstage and stuff where CM Punk was the focus, but she still brought something to the table. Her AEW run is a curious one to appraise. I thought the debut at Grand Slam ruled.
Yeah.
It felt really cathartic because she hadn't wrestled in so long and stuff, and she came out. The babyface stuff didn't really work out. Well, Doctor, your name rhymes with... and all that stuff. She turned heel quite quickly, like within 3 or 4, maybe slightly a bit longer. Yeah. Formed the Outcast with Toni Storm and Ruby Soho, which I got a bizarre kick out of because some of their promos were just so silly. I was into it. I'm not gonna lie.
Music too.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, I mean, it was funny stuff.
Yeah.
She won the title. That was a divisive move in the UK. And then she formed the alliance with Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron kind of broke out on her own, but I think Saraya I believe there was a report that Saraya was like, you need to go and do stuff on your own now. Yeah. You've kind of outgrown this, which is really reflective, and I admire that. So I'm surprised they haven't thought about using her from a name value perspective. I wonder in ring, what's the hook? What's the hook there? I don't think that her in ring is as bad as some people say. Certainly, but look, we're about to talk about Stephanie Vaquer in a minute. There is a very high working standard at the top, and can a 2025 Saraya go toe to toe with a Stephanie Vaquer or a Io Sky or a Jordan Grace? I'm not terribly sure, but at the same time, you don't necessarily need to work a 5-star match. It's WWE. It's a different brand of wrestling. So yeah, I'm surprised too. She has been very vocal. She's done a bunch of things where she's like, I'd love to go back. Yeah. I still think it'll happen at some stage. Yeah. Maybe she's just going to chill doing her book tour for the rest of the year. And
John's wild. Like, I would consider her an understandably divisive figure.
Sure, yeah.
And her story is a complex one. But the wild thing, if you consider how much of her life has been lived in this mainstream public eye, as of this reporting, she's 32. That is nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's 100 lives lived in it. Like, imagine yourself if you're not yet 32 or if you're older than 32. Imagine yourself at 32 or whatever age you're at, and consider like what she was doing with her life at the age that you are at now, or in my case, like has yet to even get to. It's just like wild. Like wrestling has that funny way of warping people's ages anyway. But for somebody that got in so young and achieved so much, there could be still much road left to travel with a Saraya and a Paige. Yeah, it's wild just how people sometimes feel written off or Dunsky when then you hear something like that and you're like, wow, like she could do 8 more years and like not even yet be at the average age of your current day WWE main eventer. Yeah, it's wild.
So she retired 8 years ago?
7, 8 years ago, 2018.
So depending on when her birthday is, she would have been 24 or 25.
Yeah. With a
insane.
At the time considered career-ending neck injury.
Insane.
Mental.
And I do think it's a nice story that she got to come back and wrestle again. Like, because it like to have that taken away from you and then be able to. We've seen it so many times. Bryan Danielson, Edge, loads of names over the years. It's a nice story, and that's why the return via AEW was so. It felt so cathartic and all of that stuff. And hey, she doesn't date Ronnie Radke anymore, so there you go. Get rid of him. Right, let's talk now about Stephanie Vaquer. Real positive news story. Not a huge surprise. She's planned for a major push. WWE is planning a major push for Stephanie Vaquer. It's going to wrestle votes. They have significant plans and they've already drawn up several ideas for character upgrades that are under consideration. Apparently her post-match interview that she did with Stephanie McMahon, Evolution, was done to position her as a major star going forward. Yeah, it's quite interesting seeing Stephanie McMahon being used to put people over instead of completely neuter them, as she has been, as she did in her pomp.
Why are you slapping her? Come on.
Yeah. Come on, Steph. Where's the heat? Where's the heat, brother? We could do Steph versus Steph at WrestleMania. Actually, Stephanie McMahon in her last match ruled.
Yeah. She went out on top, didn't she?
She did. The best match of her career. Yeah. And she was really good as a stooging heel for Ronda Rousey. But yeah, there you go. Look, no surprise here. No surprise whatsoever. I think when they put Stephanie Vaquer briefly on the main roster after WrestleMania when she wrestled Io, They and the reaction she got, I think they were maybe a bit surprised. Yeah. Oh God, we've really got something here already. She's a great wrestler. I think that the American, the audience that is focused on American wrestling woke up to Stephanie Vaquer's talents when she wrestled Mercedes, obviously, and then WWE signed her shortly after that. She is one of the preeminent rising stars in wrestling. She is going to be a multi-time major headlining women's champion in this company. It is simply a matter of time, and I would not be surprised if she was in those positions by, if not the end of this year, the beginning of next year.
I love this in wrestling more than just about anything else. Stephanie Vaquer is my favourite wrestler currently. And when I say this, what I mean is that feeling when somebody is on the rise and it feels inexorable. It feels like nothing can hold the momentum. Obviously, you don't want something like injuries, but I mean things like bad booking.
Sure.
You know, like it just doesn't, in a competently booked promotion or in a trajectory that seems so clear, like you want that kind of sky's the limit wrestler to reach their potential, and it's so exciting to me at the moment in the position that Stephanie Vaquer finds herself. I am the people that you just described, somebody that was given a window into her talents through the Mercedes feud this time last year with Forbidden Door, and then the bringing into NXT with not an insignificant amount of pressure because she was coming in at the same time as Julia, and with the whispers that Jordan Grace was on the horizon, that immediately creates that, I know they say comparisons to Thief of Joy, but it's just one of those natural things when people are coming in at the same time, and she absolutely shone. Like Julia was, I would say, the one initially given that kind of extra push and that extra bit of attention, and Stephanie Vaquer took it rather than like kind of being handed it, and I think that boded well for her in her like kind of very brief NXT run. The point about that you make about how big a response she got coming out on that Raw after WrestleMania, that pop is no longer guaranteed from an NXT call-up. You can see that, they go for numbers, should illuminate that, but the sheer fact there is no guarantee that somebody coming up from NXT will get that reaction. Ilya Dragunov got over straight away on Raw, but the first night he arrived, he didn't. He didn't. Half the crowd didn't know who he was. That was for like a match against Shinsuke Nakamura in the same sort of deal where somebody comes up as a bit of a trial. But no, it's been just all systems go. It's been so cool to watch. I don't know if she'll go over at Clash in Paris, but I don't say that in a way that I worry if she loses. It almost feels like if she's to fall short here, the Rumble is the thing to get excited about. The WrestleMania, they've already started positioning her visually with Rhea Ripley, and you look at that one, and that like immediately sets the fantasy booker in all of us going wild for WrestleMania. And then if you get in there, then you really are getting into that made territory.
Crop, baby.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I love this. I love stars on the come up where it feels like nothing can stop them. Like you don't get this all the time, do you? It's what like WWE especially. It's what like the superstar game is kind of all about, really, isn't it? Like I like the fluff and I like the marketing, and I'm excited to see what they do to like further kind of enhance this character.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonder what kind of character upgrades they've got planned. If it was Vince McMahon, it would literally be a devil character.
Oh God, don't change the music. Yeah. It's actually one of the few you got right. For God's sake, don't like
Triple H has got a new Motorhead song.
Yeah, like Def Rebel's one good hit. We need to get that gone. I pull the rug. Come on, can you come up with something worse, please, lads? You actually got one right.
Frame of reference is probably something like Damian Priest's theme, which is one of the worst. Not as bad as Bailey's, but it's
Let us know if you could improve upon the near perfection that is the presentation of Stephanie Vaquer. What would you do? I'd have the horns be powered by pyro and have them like on fire as she walks to the ring.
I'd make them into metal spikes and skewer people.
Yeah. Like a bull.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody that is bull-headed.
Oh.
Bill Goldberg.
Big Bill.
I'm eagerly awaiting what else he might say about how cross he was about his WWE run. But he won't be doing it with an AEW microphone in hand. Not for now. Anyway, this is according to WrestleVotes. There is, quote, no direct contact between Goldberg and AEW. It is believed that he's still under contract with WWE, and there won't be any while that's the case. For whatever it's worth, again, this is a quote from WrestleVotes. Those AEW sources would be surprised if AEW tries to bring in Goldberg even after his contract is up.
They shouldn't touch Goldberg, should they?
No. Some of this stems from some stuff a couple of years back where Tony Khan spoke very highly of Goldberg and said that they'd had conversations, and you know, why would they not? Like, AEW is the North American major in its own right, and Goldberg is a wrestler. With a football background, with the WCW background, one that Tony Khan will look fondly on in some regard, I imagine. There's never been any sort of harsh words between those two sides.
Goldberg has criticised AEW quite heavily. He called it cheesy, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, that was
the saying.
Upon re-upping with WWE.
Yes.
But in light of the kind of frosty reception Goldberg gave his retirement, all of a sudden this came back into the fore. Not for now, apparently. No Goldberg on Dynamite or Collision anytime soon.
I have a multifaceted take on Bill Goldberg. I love Goldberg. I always have. I understand why people don't love Goldberg.
Kind of go back and forth on our Bill ski.
The Biller. I rewatched the Hogan match, the title change recently. It's just absolutely magnificent. But I do get why people don't like him, and he is a opinion haver, which I actually like. I like it when wrestlers don't have a filter and just talk freely instead of giving you these silly media trained answers.
He said to Telwani, I'll say more in a couple of weeks, I can't say now. And then just proceed to say a load of stuff anyway. What was he saving for this mythical 2 weeks? I've got to keep my mouth shut right now. What more still left?
What's he got loaded up, and who's going to get that interview? I'm really curious. Couple of things with Goldberg. He wasn't happy with the nature of his WWE retirement. I thought it was a really good match, but I can see his point to where they knew it was happening for 7 months and they only did it within 3 weeks, right? The build. The other part of that is he was not good in those segments.
No.
But at the same time, he is absolutely entitled to feel that retirement wasn't everything it could have been. And I think that people who are going, he should just be grateful he got it, are just bootlickers, frankly. I'm not even going to...
Well, it can be both, right?
Yeah.
We've both said, what a match.
But the other side of that is that he chose to have his retirement there in WWE, right? If he made that choice, and look, WWE has never truly Goldberged Goldberg, right? During his first run, he was a sacrificial lamb for Triple H. And then, the Lesnar run, the 2016 stuff was really well done, and I thought actually that WrestleMania match would have been a great sign-off point. But then
That's it, isn't it? That exact period is where they got Goldberg right.
But then he had... They messed it up because the next night on Raw, he did a retirement speech and they didn't air it. They put it on the YouTube afterwards, kind of similar to what happened with Saturday Night's main event. So they've never truly gotten behind. They were never going to give Goldberg like the same kind of send-off that Sting got in AEW, for example. So he made that choice, and it's kind of like when like a wrestler like signs to a company for like 5 years and then 6 months in is unhappy about their booking. It's like, you know the patterns of these places. But yeah, is he going to wrestle again?
I don't know.
I think he might.
You never say never, do you?
I think
Wrestling.
he might. Yeah. But where would he do that? Like, he thinks AEW is cheesy.
Japan.
Maybe.
He's got some history there. He's got some links there.
Tokyo Dome.
He's a name.
Him and Tanahashi, double retirement match.
Bring him in. He really gets the vibe and news and works next year's G1.
Put him in there with a real worker like Bad Luck Fally.
Yeah.
Sorry. Goldberg has joined the House of Torture.
I want to see that jackhammer, man. And him trying to hold it Bad Luck Fally for that jackhammer.
Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Let us know what you think of Goldberg in the comment section below. You can slag him off. I don't mind. I'm not sensitive about the things I like. If you want to see what video will we link here? Should we go for a palate cleanser? It's been a heavy couple of days. Let's go for brutal wrestling ribs that made it to TV. Should be on your screen right now. Have a nice day. We'll be back with some stuff later on. Bye.